memory of riding a bike is my brother taking off my training wheels on my little 12-inch Batman bike, and he pushed me down our driveway hill. And it was the first day I rode without training wheels, and I fell in love with it ever since. Something about pedaling around, having the freedom to do whatever you wanted, and just like initially, I didn't see BMX until I saw X Games on TV, and I saw these guys flying in the air on these dirt jumps, and I was like, what the heck is that? And I immediately took my sister's bike at the time, went outside in my parents' yard and jumped. We had a little tree stump in the yard, and I used to just jump on that. And then it eventually turned into me digging holes in the backyard and creating my own little dirt jumps. And I just fell in love with flying into the air with my bike. Thankfully, we had a big enough yard where they didn't really care that if I was digging holes, and my dad has his own construction company, so there was always piles of wood laying around, and I would just grab any little piece of wood I could find and make my own little makeshift ramp, and I would just jump my bike all day. I think I pretty much learned everything on a whim, just studying, watching all these pro riders do all these crazy tricks. So knowing what was possible on a bike, I didn't have any second thoughts because it just looked amazing what they were doing. So I was like, wow, I really just want to try that. And thankfully in Hubbard, Ohio, we always had these trails, and then we had Section 8 skate park. We had a lot of BMX riders in our little hometown. So there was always opportunity to take my bike off these jumps and seeing this stuff in person, and just connecting to seeing how cool it was. I was like, wow, I really want to do that. That took all the fear away, is knowing wow, that looks really fun and cool. I just want to try it. And somehow I was really good at it. And I think that's from just not really second guessing myself and just always finding the pleasure in riding a bike and just connecting to that. And it was always more fun than scary. Chipping my teeth. I was at a friend's birthday party at Section 8 skate park in Hubbard, and I just flipped over the handlebars, went straight to the pavement, straight to my mouth, and cracked my teeth. And I remember crying, and I was like, wow, that's the first time I got hurt on my bike. But that was years of actually riding. I never got hurt until then. I initially went to Youngstown State to pursue nursing.
Okay.
And I loved everything about anatomy, all these chemistry classes and biology. It was my favorite thing to learn about. And then I started doing well on my BMX bike, just pursuing amateur events. And then those amateur events turned into pro events. And then I was traveling more, so I wasn't always in class. And if you miss one class of organic chemistry, you're behind for a month. So I was like, I kind of switched majors to dietetics just to lighten my load a little bit. And I'm really passionate about food and nutrition, so it just felt like an easy transition. And then traveling picked up more with riding, so I was like, I'll lighten my load even more, because I always heard business is the easiest. And the classes are the easiest to get through, and I could miss some classes and still get through college. But it turned out I was traveling way too much, and I had to skip way too many classes where it didn't even make sense to go to college anymore. It happened organically, just because they kept seeing more and more opportunities for me to ride and make some money. And they were seeing how important it was to me. I think they just were like, okay, I think this really makes sense for you. Might as well give it a shot. So it was kind of easy. It wasn't I think there was a lot of hesitance. They wanted, I think my mom was more hesitant. Well, what about plan B? You got to have something to fall back on. And I didn't really listen. I was like, well, there's too many opportunities right now. I gotta pursue them right now. And now they're like extremely proud of me, so it all worked out. The first moment where I was like, wow, I can actually be a professional bike rider was the moment I won the amateur series, the free flow tour. It was in Ocean City. If I won it, I would qualify to ride with the pros. And I ended up winning the event, and like that was like the first time in my life. I was 21. I don't know if that's late or what, but that was like the first moment where I was like, wow, I think I really want to pursue riding BMX as a professional. Creating my own personal warehouse to train in. Like it was like a dream of mine, like as a little kid, like I always had my own ramp set up in my parents' backyard. And then I always saw like Dave Mira, the best BMX rider in the world, have his own private training facility, and Ryan Nyquist, another, like these guys had their own private training facilities. I was like, man, that'd be like the dream to like create your own skate park. And thankfully, at the end of 2019, I did well enough at the World Championships in China. And I was like, wow, I think I can actually build something for these next upcoming. I think I could build something for 2020 and have somewhere I could train and practice and do everything I want. And it happened. And I every time I come in here, it's like a dream comes true. Like it's just still surreal, and it's just something I'm super proud of. So after doing well at the World Championship and the World Cup in China, I was like, wow, I have enough money saved up. I just wanted more money, so I think I could build something. So I immediately, it was November 2019, I immediately started researching, like calling and emailing all these building brokers and trying to find my own place. Every building that had potential was only 22 feet tall. And at that point, like I have Chenga World Skate Park in Brook Park, and I have Ray's Mountain Bike Park here in Cleveland. Both are amazing places, but their ceiling heights are 20 feet. So I'm like not gaining much with a 22-foot ceiling. So I thought I was like hitting a dead end every time I was calling these people. Then my girlfriend started researching on Facebook Marketplace, her favorite place to search things on. And we found this sketchy looking ad. And I was like, I know the area. I don't know if I really want to go check this out. But I was like, it's worth a shot. We have nowhere else to look. Might as well look. And it ended up being like the perfect spot, 30-foot ceilings. It's just the perfect amount of room of exactly what I wanted to build and what I had in mind. And the landlord, he's from Croatia. He's the nicest guy in the world. He was like super accommodating. Before I even signed the lease, he put up lights, put in electric in this part of the building, and just really helped me out. So BMX Freestyle, we are given 1 minute to attack a course, all these different ramps and obstacles, and we got to do our hardest and most difficult tricks. We have to perform them and execute them perfectly so we can land with speed. And the judges are really looking for the overall usage of the course. And it's kind of like an overall impression of like who rode the course the best, also while performing the hardest tricks. So I think it's an amazing sport because it gives a lot of opportunity for any type of riding to shine. Olympics, there's more. With the Olympics, it's more trick-oriented, so you're going to see the hardest tricks in BMX performed there on that big stage. So those are like the top riders doing like the hardest tricks, but there's also tons of other events that shine with more of the riding style that is more flowy and like more artsy looking, rather than more flips and flying around in the air. I try to do the biggest tricks in the game possible, so that's just something I always enjoyed watching, and thankfully I'm one of those guys that get to do it, and that's just something I'm very passionate about. I work really hard with repetition and practicing these tricks over and over again, so it's just ingrained in my body like that I could do it. It truly is a huge honor to like represent USA on just doing what I passionately love doing. But I think it's so new to me and the sport that we don't really know what it means exactly. So it's like, for me, it's just another opportunity to ride my bike. And if there's people in America that are rooting me on, then bring it. Like, that's awesome. A gold medal would just mean the world. Just that nice way to seal the deal of all this hard work and energy, blood, sweat, and tears put into this sport, and just like having that, like you just hit the pinnacle of sports, really. Like that's that'd be a huge honor, and like I think it would just mean the world to me.